As soon as I left the theaters last night, I felt like I wanted to cry. Now, sleeping on it, thinking about it, researching it, doing this review, I have mixed feelings about this franchise because I love it so much and it means so great to me that this movie does not stick the landing like it should have or we've deserved, but we'll talk about it. Hi, how you doing? My name is Jess, my YouTube channel, it's Just Jess. Here we do movie reviews, giving you the biggest and best reviews of the movies that are releasing at the time in the theaters. That's right, in theaters, especially romance movies like this. So if that's your fancy, consider subscribing. So we got the movie After Everything. Is a romance, kind of erotic, sexy, unhealthy at times, but happy in others movie adaptation from the After series written by Anna Todd. It started online on Wattpad, but made its physical release to books and movies that we are covering right now. Basically, if you don't know, it's like 50 Shades, but in college, young kids going to young adult life, partying, drinking, having sex. It's not as rated R as those other movies. I mean, yeah, it's rated R, but don't get me wrong, it's not like 50 Shades level. I mean, it kind of is. If you like 50 Shades, you'll find liking this as well because I saw 50 Shades and I was like, oh, I need more of this, and so we have this. Even though this is the 5th movie, there is no 5th book. Now, yes, of course, there is a 5th book. It's called Before, but it's a prequel to all the events taking place to this. So this is new uncharted territory for us After Nader fans and takes the franchise to new heights and new lows as well because, like I said before, it's like, it really depends on what type of person you are and how much you love the series and accept what they're going through here. Will Tessa be back with Harden? What about Natalie? Why is she so important into this movie? And what about Sebastián? Why is he in the marketing material? Find out as we discuss this epic conclusion to over the course of 5 years for After series. Disclaimer, sort of. I'm gonna be very honest with you, everybody. I'm gonna give you some prerequisites before we even talk about this movie because I need you to know where I'm coming this, and I'm gonna give you some explanation why, because I feel like I have a lot to say and I could give you a different perspective based on what I'm telling you right now. So I am a fan of the franchise. I have all the books. I'm going to show you some photos, some videos. I even have the movies on Blu-ray because of better color accuracy and better depth. And every single fall season that comes, I always rewatch them in the theaters. I saw the first one back in 2019 at AMC Theaters, Niles 12, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I read all the books prior to the movie's release, and it's changed me as a person in the 5 years preceding it. Now, After We Collided, which is After 2, After We Fell, After Ever Happy, have all released in during the fall season. So I always watch it just because it's every fall. So I always watch it until the next one. I even have videos that I've done in my first year doing YouTube, which is After We Fell and After Ever Happy, which I'll link below, and you can see photos over here right now that I've had reviewed some of these series. I used to go to school to become a relationship therapist, so marriage counselor. I was going for my psychology degree. That was in 2020 when After We Collided came out. I quit because YouTube is my career, my future. I love romance, but I love movies more. So that's the thing. So I was going for that for like my junior year. I left. I was like, you know what? YouTube is my passion. This is my career. So I left that. But I have that kind of knowledge. I mean, I didn't finish, so I don't have the full knowledge, but that's what I was going for, to become a couples relationship therapist. I am a dude who likes girls, and the reason why I say this is because a lot of guys get stigmatized online. Oh, guys talking about love. He's talking about romance. He's such a girl. No, like I like girls. If I see an attractive girl at Comic-Con or at the bar or at Target or at the music festival and she's making eye contact, yeah, I'll go say, hey, how you doing? My name is Jess. Like, let's go on a date. Like, who cares? I want love to succeed. The reason why I'm saying that is because I want love to succeed. I want this genre to succeed, not just After series, but love in general. I mean, I went to school. I do like girls. It's like, if you ask guys or you have boyfriends here or your other friends, guys don't like talking about romance. I mean, they like doing the naughty things with women and letting them ride them. But at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of dudes, especially here in Chicago, like they get so weird about it when you ask them, hey, do you like romance movies? Like they're like, let's go do something else. Like, no, dude, like I'm going to be honest, and I'm being honest with you. Like I'm going to be critical, and there's some things about this movie that just me the wrong way. Probably hit for you too if you've been a friend since 2019 or maybe even Wattpad. But it's like, in my other videos, which I'm not going to explain in detail right now, I've had relationships like Harden and Tessa. Anyone can see themselves in Harden and Tessa. You don't even have to be in college because toxic, alcohol, relationships, it's difficult. And that's the one thing why I felt like I connected to this franchise. Anyway, let's get into the review, and I'll use timestamps for you to get whatever you want because we'll do spoilers later. I gotta address the fandom for 1 second. So it is difficult not to look at spoilers, to look at everything else. I have Instagram, and I was, of course, following this because I want to know when the movie's coming out, and of course, just for YouTube in general. I don't ever watch trailers when I review a movie in this channel. I just don't. I've stopped since 2019 for The Rise of Skywalker. And ever since then, I don't watch trailers. I do watch still photos of the movies that that they release of the images posted on social media. I will see that. And then I'm looking at the after series, like people are mad because Tessa's not like in the marketing material. Who is Natalie? This is a whole new movie. Maybe it's a cash grab. Did Voltage Studios get too greedy? Did greed change them? Did money change them? Like, why did they do this? And I don't know, I have some mixed feelings about it. And yes, I did see the trailers after. I'm like, wow. And when I was watching the movie too, and I heard inklings, of course, it's hard to get away from. I'm just like, where's Tessa? Where's Tessa? Where's Tessa? That's what I thought. I'm like, okay, Natalie, she's great. She's gorgeous. But where's Tessa? Like, we need her. I don't want to get into the contract needy details. I'm definitely going to do more videos about this subject. But for now, we're talking about the movie. I mean, it's not that bad. It's not even bad. It's just like I get why they did that. And we'll talk about it right now. So starting the movie off, after experiencing some sort of writer's block, Harden Scott is in a world of lost, troubled, and a year behind on his manuscripts that he promised his editors or his publishing company that his book 2 is coming out. After thinking things through, he travels to Portugal to try to make amends to his past in order to become a better man and have a possibility future with Tessa. So yes, let's just get out of the way. Tessa is in this movie, maybe like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, no less than 20. She's literally at the end at Landon's wedding scene. Now, if you read the books, I felt like this ending was supposed to be for after 4, after Ever Happy, but they literally cut it, saved it, add a bunch of other small scenes. I mean, they text back and forth, or maybe they used footage from the other movies and made a whole movie about this. So yes, Tessa in this movie is just not as much as I would like, or to top off the ending. I mean, it's like a new Divergent storyline. So basically 70% of the movie is Harden dealing with his future, dealing with himself, his problems, hanging out with Natalie, going on like multiple hangout dates. They go get drinks, they get food, they go on some boat ride, they go on like this cliff, they go partying. It's like Harden has traveled to become a better person for himself, writing his new book because he has no idea what he's writing about. Because Tessa's not his life, and I love what he said in the trailers. If I didn't have Tessa, I didn't have the book, but if I didn't have the book, I would still have Tessa. Or he said something like that. I'm like, wow. So his ability to grow is present in this film, and it really depends on what type of person you are, because a lot of people are like, oh my god, like Natalie, but there is a reason, hypothetically, why they did this movie the way they did, and we'll talk about it right now. There's also another idea that comes to mind, which is greed and money. Could be a little bit of both. I feel like the money's still overtaking the greed, but here's why I think it's not that bad. Other than the location they shot it, I mean, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful, it's sunny every day. Harden can definitely think in this, like the beaches over there, Portuguese is beautiful. The soundtrack and the thematic scores to accompany the music and the video productions of the marketing material, the way the movie was shot, I thought it was pretty cool. The way the movie was made, it was great. Like, it looks good with all the different landscapes, the scenery, the way this movie portrays like this new island. It looks pretty good. However, the bad is that Natalie was only mentioned in the whole series maybe less than a chapter if you want to add it up, or maybe less than a few pages, and now she gets, I don't want to say a full-blown movie. I mean, they literally went Harden to go on his growth, just become a better person. She still has the same job as doing dresses. And if you read the books, you know that Tessa and Natalie see each other for like 5 minutes, or maybe it was a minute in the last book, because she goes with Trish to get her wedding gown, and Harden sees Natalie, and Natalie's like, oh my god, that's Tessa, that's Harden's new girl that is trying to do right, and you know, he betrayed me and whatever. So they do see each other, but not in the movie. They don't see each other. Anyway, nothing against the actress. It's nothing against her, but I just feel like their interactions are only based, of course, if you've seen this, the after movie Instagram page is because of the trauma that would happen. I mean, he literally messed her up. So I guess why this movie was made was to show that Harden has grown, and there's a lot of scenes and interaction that shows us that he has. I mean, would you believe it that in the last movie, 2 years have gone by, oh, Harden has changed, here you go. You know, and that's the only thing that I could think of. Okay, now we see his growth. Like, we see it, we feel it, we even hear it based on his interactions and the way he sounds talking to everyone else in this new land. But one thing too that I couldn't get off my mind, like, yes, we can explore Natalie, but what about Tessa? We can explore her as well, and the movie unfortunately did not do that. But it's like they're just friends. I mean, he has to get inspiration to his new book, which is called Before, which, if it sounds familiar, that's a real book in real life, Before, which I have read, and it's like, okay, cool, that is so cool. He's trying to make amends to his past, and I want to read that book that Harden wrote in the movie with Before, with Natalie. Like, what does he think about it? How did he make her become like a queen or whatever, just to make amends or whatever? But we do see actually Harden grow as a character. He's more collective. He's calmer. His demeanor has changed. The way he talks has changed. It's definitely an improvement. Of course, Hero Finis Steffens has played this character for 5 years, so he probably feels very comfortable. And I've seen some people online saying like, oh, that's what you get when you are a producer or creative control. And like, look, he has played this character for 5 years, and like I can confidently say that, yeah, it's definitely an improvement. And a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, that's what you get for getting creative control because you produced it. And yeah, maybe he produced it. Maybe the guy who played Christian Vance produced it. But still, like one of the parts that shouldn't be missed, and I don't know if this is like a takeaway for like the whole movie. It's like Christian Vance comes back and has screen time with Harden. And I thought that was pretty cool, even though let's say they did this for money. We finally do see Christian Vance acting like the father figure that he could have with Harden. Like that scene, and I'm not going to ruin it for you until we get to the spoilers. That scene when he goes talks to Harden, I thought that was really cool. He's showing that he loves him, he wants him to be okay. Like wow. Like yeah, we have scenes with Ken in the previous installments, but I feel like that scene, particularly alone, you could see growth just in that scene alone. I mean, yeah, I don't know if it warrants the whole movie, but still, at the end of the day, that scene touched me in a way. I'm like, oh, I wish my father did that, was talking to me like that. But that was really cool. But still, come on, one scene over an hour and 33 minutes for a new movie? Greed, money, producers, creative control. Things come into mind because I've seen other movies. I'm like, I don't know. I love this franchise, but it's like, come on, you can't get that away. Like, maybe could it be it? But still, before I give this movie a final grade, before we get into the spoilers, I just want you to know I might be doing a little bit too harsh on this movie or too critical. But dude, come on, it's like 5 years. Like, and you have a loyal, loud, amazing fan base over there, especially on Instagram. Like, people will go to show this movies. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, as a fan base, you see the comments, you know what people would want. And I'm gonna give this a D+/C-. The reason why I'm in between those scores is because I love Harden as a character. I love his growth and I love the franchise. And this meant so much to me over the past 5 years, turning me into the young adult mature man that I am. But still, it's like seeing this toxic relationship on screen with alcohol, fighting, amazing sex with friends. It's like I felt like this movie, the ending, deserved a little bit more. Tessa's only for 10 minutes or 15 or whatever. I don't mind Natalie's part if Tessa's part was extended. It's only an hour and 33 minutes. I don't mind Natalie's part, but I thought, oh, now we're gonna make it up for Tessa. Like maybe 15 more minutes of Tessa could have gone a long way. Maybe showing them going back to the wedding, expanding the ending scene with their kids. Like it just fast forwards to literally Harden going to the house. Tessa is pregnant. They have a child running around. And yes, in the book, I get it. They could have infidelity. But in the book, if you fast forward towards the ending of those pages, she does get pregnant. They do have kids. I think it's like Auden and Emery. And there's scenes in the books where they're talking to them. They go to school. Like what the hell? And for that ending to be very rushed, I feel like I'm like, what are you doing? Like this was supposed to be, to me, an Avengers Endgame level events. Literally over 5 years for this romance movie. You could have taken Tessa maybe 10 more minutes, 15 more minutes, and fleshed this out movie to be like a 145-minute runtime, or maybe even a 2 hours. There's other movies, like other romance movies that are 2 hours. Like you could have gave us more of Tessa, and maybe the fan base would have been cool. But I'm probably just being way too harsh on this or too critical. But it's just, I love this series so much that's why I'm giving it that score. Do I still love the franchise? Yeah, I'm still gonna support it. Yeah, but I just want Voltage. Hey, if you're probably watching Voltage Studios, just know that was kind of bogus though. To be honest, that was kind of bogus. Because I left the theater, I was like, what are you doing? Like you just like broke my heart, and like you patched it real quick together. Like no, we need time with Tessa, and that's the thing that I'm like, what? I'll say it again. I don't mind the Natalie part. I just wish they have included Tessa more. 10 minutes would have gone a long way. 15, maybe even another 30 for your biggest, beautiful, perfect girl lead. And yeah, I saw the comments. She did, I don't want to say she carried the whole franchise for her, but she was one of the heavy lifting. Alright, so let's get into the spoilers, guys. Spoiler territory. There's only like 4 things that I want to talk about. So when he's going to Portuguese, Harden has this flight attendant scene. And if you've seen it, it's stupid because it's a dream. Like, what? But then it was never in the book. So basically, this flight attendant saying like, hey, Harden, like, or not Harden, is like, hey, like, do you want another one? Why are you so sad? Can I help you? And she's being like flirty and stuff, and Harden's not getting it. And then she goes to the front, she's like, can you come here? And then, of course, sexy, erotic scene. I mean, the way that was shot, I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, yeah, as a dude, I'm like, he's single. And literally, Tessa's telling him to move on. She's texting him, hey, I need you to move on. As a dude, that hurts. Because I had a girl telling me multiple times, hey, move on. And I tried to get her back, but it didn't happen. So I can understand why people are mad that Harden had that. They're like, oh, that's not the real Harden. But then I guess we don't know Harden then, because he does do that kind of stuff. I mean, he was a bad boy, and it takes not weeks to change. I mean, literally in the movie it says 2 years. And that's the thing that I want to say. Like, would you have believed over 2 years, Harden, after 4, that ending, hey, here's 2 years, he's changed. So this movie, the only reason why I can support it is because we do see that change. But let's just say 2 years was just out there. Hey, he changed, here's 2 years. Without that context, it's difficult because I do feel like it's so cash grab. I'm just like, And I don't want to say that. Yeah, we do get some character depth, or I don't know, man. There's some other things that we gotta do some research on. I mean, I suspect we'll find out more. But at the same time, I thought that scene was cool. In terms of the character, I can't really say, but still, it was cool and it was erotic. All right, so Harden and Nadine, or Natalie, they go on this boat cruise, and Natalie's saying that, oh, I want that house, that's gonna be my dream, blah, blah. All right, and literally before he leaves to see Tessa, he buys her the freaking house. It's on top of this mountain over the riverside or the lake. It's beautiful, it's white, and he has money, of course. He has the best-selling author, New York Times, in the movie. And a lot of people have a weird thing about that. He basically went to Portuguese to help write his second book, and it's called Before, so it's like he's making amends, because Before, I want to see what he wrote to her. I want to see what that book was published, what does it say, because I want to see what he thinks about her, or whatever story they have. So he buys the house and he goes to see Tessa, and a lot of people are like, to me, that was spoiled to me, and I'm so pissed. And it's so hard to get too spoiled, because with YouTube and social media, it's hard, and I wish it wasn't spoiled for me, but it was. What do I think about it? I don't mind it. I mean, if that's his way of making amends to Natalie, that's cool, you know, but still, money's not gonna buy someone's sorriness. But still, like Harden, he kind of felt bad, so of course he did it. I mean, it's whatever. I mean, to me, I'm just like, wow. Maybe if it wasn't spoiled, I would have looked at it a little bit differently, but the fact that it was, it doesn't matter. He buys her a house and he just moves on. That's it. And maybe that's his way of saying sorry, like I said, but to me, I didn't care, because I was ready to move on. Like, Natalie, you're great, you're amazing, and you're saying sorry and buying that house. I'm not saying that money can change everything, but you know what, if Harden can do it. But still, like Natalie, in the movie, she tells us she suffered a lot. She lost scholarships, she lost friends, she lost her support system and her family, and she was literally left London to be in this place. So I can see why Harden bought the house, because now that we learned that Natalie, I mean, of course, you doing stuff like that's kind of messed up. She lost a lot, and I'm not trying to sympathize with the character, but I do have friends in real life that have done that. I mean, they haven't lost everything like Natalie does, but still, like, that's kind of, I can understand why, and I don't know if it justifies the situation, but Natalie was really messed up, and Harden did that to her. So if Harden can't move on, if this is what it takes for him to move on as a dude, yeah, go ahead, do it, but money. I don't know. All right, before we reach the ending with Tessa, one final thing before we move on. The Sebastián fight scene. Sebastián was in the movie, maybe feels like Natalie's boyfriend. I mean, I never see him like kiss or anything, but I did leave to go use the bathroom, so she does forgive him. But still, Sebastián, he's like, oh, she told me about you. She never says her name. He probably watched the video. Sebastián and Harden get into this fight. Harden has been fighting in the other movies. He knows how to fight. He's been training with Landon. I thought he won that fight, but then freaking Sebastián's two friends come to hurt Harden. I'm like, dude, you couldn't do one-on-one. You have to have your friends fight. And they're fighting on this beautiful beach in the daylight in front of Natalie, in front of friends in this party. He's like, you just like a womanizer, blah, blah, blah. And then he like, Harden headsbutts him, and then they fight for a little bit one-on-one. And then his friends jump in, and then Harden gets his ass beat. You know, I'm like, dude, that is so dumb. Like, what the hell? And then, of course, it's the Christian Bond scene. I thought it was amazing. He's like, I love you. I need you. That scene really hit me with Christian Bond and Harden, because after he got into a fight, I'm like, whatever. Sebastián's cool, and the actor's really cool because he's done other romance movies. Anyway, let's get to the ending. All right, now we reach the ending with Landon. 2 years have passed. Now we see the context to see that his growth has passed. He sees Tessa for the first time. Nora, Landon, they're getting married. It's amazing. Robert's there. Oh my god. Okay, so he thinks that they're together, right? I mean, who wouldn't? As a guy, of course, I'm gonna think Tessa and Robert are together. It's hinted in other movies and in the books that they tried dating but didn't. But Harden doesn't know that. We know that, but Harden doesn't know that. When he goes to Christian Vance and Kim's like, they're just brother and sister. So of course, he's the best man. He says a toast. And he says something, and I'm paraphrasing here. He says, you are lucky to marry your soulmate because you have no idea how it feels without them. Now, of course, it's probably a little bit different. That literally hit me as a dude. I didn't cry, but I was like, wow. It's like 1,000 knives poking at you during the winter season. That scene was really good. That scene was definitely really good. And then Tessa runs out, and it's like the changing area for the bridesmaid. She's crying, and she's like, I'm sorry I pulled away, because she did pull away, and I get why, you know, like, your whole story's out for the world. She's like, I choose you. They talk, they have sex, it's amazing. He asks her to marry her, she says yes. Fast forward literally like 30 seconds, it's cold, he has a book, he goes to the house, Tessa's pregnant. They have a kid running around, and there's another one on the way, and then it ends and it says thank you. What? That's why I'm so pissed, because like, dude, you could have made it 10 more minutes with Tessa, and you're right, maybe contracts, there's legal issues, money and greed. At the end of the day, does it change the way I love the series? No. I just wish Voltage Studios, if you're watching this, you know the ending, when you get that right. I'm letting you know, that was kind of fucked up. I mean, that was kind of messed up. That was kind of bogus. Like, Tessa, you're just leaving her to die. Like, yes, finally we get the ending. Finally we get the ending in the books, but you could have expanded Tessa. I'll say it one more time. I don't mind the Natalie part. I just wish Tessa had a way more screen time. They could have gone dancing. You could have showed something else, like just walking. I don't know. It's weird. I'll do another video explaining what the franchise has mean to me, but this video is getting a little bit too long. And if you've been here, if you made it this far, I just want to say I appreciate you. Thank you. and we'll talk about soon. I mean, at the end of the day, creative control, greed, producers, I don't know, there's a lot, but still, I'm gonna make another video because this video is getting too long, but still, hey, not that bad, but not that great either. They did not stick the landing. As always, if you made it this far, I appreciate you so much. Maybe consider hitting that like button and turning on notifications so you never miss a video, and with that, take care, bye.